NBA Today with Malika Andrews, live from Los Angeles.
Well, Janae, you know what they say. They say a series, it doesn't start until
a team wins on the road.
Heck yeah. Well, Anthony Edwards, CJ McCollum,
already
they made sure by that standard. We got a couple of series here, my friends. Let's start with the game that ended at 1:25 a.m. Eastern time. Shout out to all the real ones.
Yes.
Who stayed up for this one because it was an absolute battle. Hey, Denver converted on 3 4-point plays in the first quarter, Brian. That's the most in a single quarter in the play-by-play era. So Denver was firmly in control after the first quarter.
Firmly control for a while.
Yeah, they were. Things took a turn, though, in the second. The Wolves down 10. Here they come. Julius Randle, we were asking for a big game from him, and he certainly delivered here, G.
Ooh,
look out.
Body.
Anthony Edwards slicing through the defense. A minute later, Randle kicks it to Edwards for the three.
You know what's funny about this? Gobert got some foul trouble. It actually helped the Wolves a little bit because they played 5 out, and they got back in it.
They went small and survived. But Jamal Murray.
Screaming. I was like, do you not see this in the regular season? Do you not see this in the... Jamal Murray loves to take these shots. Guard him.
That was you? I thought I heard something. If it looks familiar, yeah, it's because he did the exact same thing in Game 4 of the 2024 West Semis.
His hair is totally different in those two shots.
To the fourth we go here. The Timberwolves out in transition.
Defense, Rudy.
Dante DiVincenzo finds McDaniels. Easy little jam inside.
Some tired legs from that Denver team. In the
1-point game here. Next Nuggets possession. There's these tired legs again. You know, didn't know? All gas, no brakes.
Hey,
almost got him.
Oh, I thought we were going to see that one.
Sniper almost got him.
I think he was thinking he was going to dunk that.
He tried.
Anthony Edwards misses the jumper, but who's there? Rudy Gobert.
Clean it up, Rudy.
Rudy.
Big-time performances from Rudy Gobert in this series so far.
Absolutely. Defensively in this game, offensively in Game 1. Jokic drives. How often do you see this today?
Oh, very rare sighting right here.
Some.
That was a statement from Nikola.
You know why he dunked that?
Why?
Because he couldn't lay it up because he thought Gobert was going to miss it.
Well, there you go. And then Nikola here, he passes up the floater, gives it to Christian Brown, who is fouled here. Brown goes to the line. He only makes 1 of 2. Here's Jokic on passing up that floater.
Yeah, I thought I had him and kind of step up and jump in here. I thought I had a pass, but I should definitely take that forward.
But you know what, Bobby? If ifs were fifths, we'd all be drunk. One more chance here for the Denver Nuggets. This was a strange shot selection here from Jamal Murray.
Yeah, if you're going to take a shot that far, why not make it 3?
Right, because you're down by that many.
Yeah.
And here comes...
There's the dunk you were looking for today.
Yes, I knew it was coming.
Sniper didn't get him that time.
A-Rod ready to celebrate with his team. And now they head back to Minnesota with this series all tied up at 1 game apiece. Ant-Man, he looked a little hobbled early in this game, but he really found his stride. He finished with exactly 30 points. It's his 16th game in the playoffs with at least 30. And look at that. All other Timberwolves players in postseason history combined.
Wow.
They only combined.
With all due respect, it wasn't much of a postseason history before he got there.
Okay, Brian.
Fair.
Peed in your curiosity?
Well, just say
Here's Ant on his role as a leader after Game 2.
In that first quarter, man, it wasn't going our way. They got like 3-and-1 threes, couple miscommunication, backdoor layups. So just coming in the timeouts, talking to guys, uplifting guys, like, we good. We down 15, but we good. We're going to make a run, and let's see what we do. Let's see what they do when we punch them back in their mouth. So, yeah, just knowing when to be a leader and when to get on guys.
What were some of the keys offensively as to really getting a rhythm today?
Go out, Jokic, Jamal, all the bad defenders, Tim Hardaway, Cam Johnson, Aaron Gordon, the whole team. Like, just go at them.
They're all bad defenders.
Yeah, they're all bad defenders.
Whoa, bop, 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 bop. Okay,
Whoa.
Danny, would you have gone that far?
I mean, you know me. I'm not that type of guy. But he better stand on business because this is wild. If you're going to say this after Game 2, we've seen some things said early. Like, you don't say it that early in
the team that loves the smoke, though.
For sure. But, now they're targeting you in every action, a lot of action. So you better be ready for it. And, again, for me, I think it's a little wild. We've seen guys complain about things or bring certain things. Don't poke the bear too early. Jokic, he's known to have historical nights against Rudy before. He might have one against you. They may put you in every action now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You
got to be careful.
You got to be very careful.
The thing is, he is correct. The Nuggets ranked 28th in defense.
They
this
are bad
year.
defensively.
That is not debatable. And they were slightly better after the All-Star break. They were like 20th, but that's because a third of the team was tanking, or a third of the league was tanking. So what he said was not really controversial. Now, smart, that's a different thing that you're talking about. It may not have been smart, but I don't think it was controversial.
But when you're talking about what the Timberwolves found, they didn't find bad defenders in Game 2. What was it that they were able to do to even up this series.
They got stops. I know that we want to focus on what they did offensively, and they had some key plays. They got stops. Like, Denver has to win games with their offense. That is how they are built, very clearly. Rudy Gobert, this is a guy who, you know, whenever I saw Chris Finch at 3 different points in this season, I was at Timberwolves games like in December, like February and March, and all 3 times he said the same thing. Rudy is being great for us. He is really helping us. He's keeping us afloat. For everything that people want to say about Rudy, and there are times when Rudy invites scorn, including when he complains about his own teammates for not throwing him the ball, Rudy delivers, and in this game, he was brilliant defensively.
He was brilliant offensively in game 1, and that's why it was so concerning that the Timberwolves lost, because you're wasting a night like that from your big man. And he was brilliant defensively here in game 2, even despite getting in early foul trouble. Here's what Ant-Man had to say about his big man.
I told him, like, bro, we ain't bringing no double team. You gonna go out him one-on-one all night and stop fouling. Like, stop going for the reaching, and, you know, because he's gonna flop and they're gonna call a foul. So just play him straight up. If he make a shot over you, cool. That's what he do. He gets paid to make those shots. So let's go, Rudy. Let's go.
3 or 4 times in the clutch when Jokic was trying to go one-on-one with you and wasn't successful. What were you seeing in that? How were you able to?
I was lucky because I'm not a top 3 defender cannot do that, so I was lucky.
And Rudy did just that. He heard Ant-Man, stop fouling, play him. You can tell it's some fatigue, and when you're fatigued, you go to what you know. And Jokic, he loves that left shoulder, getting to that right hand. Rudy knows this. He's been playing him for damn near a decade now. So knowing that, he's giving him some space, but also giving him some resistance, not letting him get to that right hand, making him force him go to left hand, knowing that he doesn't want to get there. Gets to that right hand hook. Rudy contested, a little short. Fatigue maybe playing a factor here. DiVincenzo gets out and running, gets that little strong layup, as we like to see earlier. Same situation. Gets Jokic off the block a little bit further now, making him work some. Knowing he wants to get to that right hand, kind of shading him some. It's one-on-one. They got all the space in the world to work. As you can tell, Jokic taking his time because he's a little fatigued. But as he goes, he gets to that paint, gets to the mid-range or that paint area, trying to get to that left shoulder, pump fakes. Rudy's on it, knows he's coming back right. A couple guys showing a little bit of crowd right there on the contest. Tough shot. Get the tip out. If you can't get the rebound, smack it to a teammate. He does that. They get a lot of good stops down the stretch.
So he is their defensive superstar. I want to focus on the offensive superstar because Anthony Edwards, he started the day questionable, but he finished the day unflappable, honestly, because we saw Jokic trying to poke the bear a little bit, and he kept his cool. And this was a game where he was not 100%, but he let the game come to him. We talk about football. I know the draft is right around the corner. Is it tomorrow or the day after tomorrow?
Thursday, Friday, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Saturday.
When you think about football, it's about the middle 8. And Anthony Edwards won the middle 8, the middle quarters, the middle minutes, meaning the run into halftime. I know that Jamal Murray's shot was different, but this was a team that came from a big deficit, and he started cooking. We saw on the highlight, like that finish. Only Anthony Edwards can get that finish where he takes contact, hang time, and still fights his way through the rim. And then on top of it, he knocks down a 3 the next possession down. And so I was just impressed. He had 30 points. He had double-digit rebounds. Yeah. He is truly a superstar, and normally he starts and leads with fire, but it was more of a chill mode that actually got them the win.
Well, and I totally agree with you. I mean, the defense by Jaden McDaniels on Jamal Murray, there was a clip we just showed at the 4-minute mark of Murray with his hands on his knees. Yep. And this was also at the 9-minute mark. It was probably at the 11-minute mark here where he was tired. He worked him over here. He played all but 13 seconds in the 4th quarter. And I think certainly offensively, when you watch this Denver team down the stretch, there was a lot of short shots as far as stuff that got right at the rim. There was a Jokic 3 here, but I thought the defense on Murray really kind of set the tone for the 4th quarter.
And we'll see how that travels, right, as this series heads back to Minnesota. Also, just shout out Julius Randle, 18 points in the first half. We'd asked for a big game from him, and he certainly delivered here. Let's get to some news, though, out of Chicago that came in today. Billy Donovan, he's exiting as head coach of the Bulls after 6 seasons with the franchise. Chicago made the playoffs just 1 time in his 6 years. And here's what he said in part in a statement that was released earlier today. He said, quote, after a series of thoughtful and extensive discussions, here it is right here, with ownership regarding the future of the organization, I've decided to step away as the head coach of the Bulls to allow the search process to unfold. I believe it is in the best interest of the Bulls to allow the new leader to build out the staff as they see fit. Okay, that's what Billy Donovan had to say. The man who broke the story is with us now, Shams Charania. And Shams, you and we talked about just last week how the Bulls, even with new management changes, they wanted to keep Billy Donovan if he wanted to stay. So where does Chicago turn to now as a coaching search gets underway?
Malika, the Bulls will be in the market for a new head coach, but it really starts now for the Bulls with their new head of basketball operations. They're on the hunt for that right now, but that's where it comes down to Billy Donovan. They offered him any amount of years that he wanted to stay as coach, any type of extension he wanted, even a high-ranking managerial role. But Billy Donovan wants to keep coaching, and he actually had an option, his own option in his contract for next season, and he decided to decline it and to step down today as head coach. And so the Bulls' next task now is to find that new head of basketball, and they have started interviews on which direction they're going to go. And Billy Donovan wanted to essentially preempt that process and say, listen, I'm going to step aside here, let the Bulls find their direction. Billy Donovan has been very clear around the league. He wants to win, and so now he's going to be in the market potentially as a coaching candidate, but the Bulls will be able to find their direction, their new head of basketball operations, who then will pick the next head coach. And think about it. The Knicks wanted Billy Donovan last summer. UNC wanted Billy Donovan during the season. He decided to stick it out, and now both sides are parting ways.
All right, both sides are parting ways, but a lot of questions still in Chicago. Shams, thank you very much for that insight. Don't go too far. I got a couple more for you a little bit later in the show. But there's sort of the Bulls side of this, Brian, and then there's the Billy Donovan side of this, expecting to see him again in some sort of coaching capacity. What's your reaction?
Yeah, I think he was interested in doing this a year ago. The Knicks job was open. He was interested in going to New York. They talked him into staying a year, and frankly, they should have listened to Billy. They should have let him go last year, and they should have started a rebuild last year. Now they're starting a rebuild, and Billy did this once before. When he was in Oklahoma City, left in 2020, they started a rebuild. I don't know if you're aware they won a title by 2025. So let's see where the Bulls are in 5 years. It would have been better if they started it a year ago. But when Billy is now in the market, he will have a number of options, whether he wants to go short term here or if he wants to wait a little bit longer and see what develops.
All right, so that's the Billy Donovan side of all of this. I mentioned the series of questions that Chicago certainly has. That sounds like a task for our front office insider, Bobby Marks, who's standing by over at the touchscreen.
Mr. Marks.
Mr. Marks, lay out the state of Chicago, the Windy City, for us.
Well, right now, they are the only team that has 2 picks in the top 15 at 9 and 15. That 15th pick is from Portland. If we spin the lottery, maybe we can find some lottery luck for...
Nope.
No. Let's spin it one more time here.
The Jazz?
Oh, how about a Miami Heat there? Nope. So this is what you're looking at if you are Chicago here. It filters out through, and this is kind of your pool of players, right? As far as all the players that have come up the board, it's only Nate Ament and Mikael Brown here. But you've got size. You've got a guard in Braden Burris, you've Kareem Lopez, Jaxo Lendenberg, Ade Mara. If you need size, remember last year's lottery pick, Noah Aseng, he did not play most of the season. He's coming back from injury. So essentially, you've got 2 picks in the lottery last year, this year. You've got the 15th pick in the draft, and you've got $60 million in cap space. A lot to work with if you're the new front office, and certainly who they hire as the coach.
All right, so a lot of decisions here for Chicago, and who knows, maybe they'll get Dallas levels of lucky and jump up here in the draft. Coming up on our show, though, let's get back to the playoffs, because it was a fourth quarter that you had to see, Shanae, to believe. Wild finish in Madison Square Garden. Hallelujah. The Hawks and the Knicks, how Atlanta flipped the script, and what that says about the series moving forward. Plus, LeBron, he set the tone in Game 1 to the Lakers, but if Kevin Durant can't go, does that change everything? We have an injury report from Houston ahead. And Victor Wembanyama, he didn't just win Defensive Player of the Year. He made history along the way. Brian, how many do you think he's going to get?
More than one.
More than one? More than 2?
You remember that Miami soundbite?
4, 5, 6, 7.
He didn't choose the villain life here, but the villain life, it chose C.J. McConnell here.
Jose, right?
Hey, so the Knicks, they were 64-1, been leading by 10 or more points entering the 4th in playoff history. Anyone know the one? Reggie Miller.
Oh, wow.
So I'm not saying that C.J. is that, but this had the writing on the wall here for New York. C.J. McCollum kicks it out to Nickeil Alexander-Walker for the 3.
No.
McCollum getting all of his teammates involved. The next play,
Halliburton.
Brunson drives to the basket, rejected, blocked there by Kuminga.
Beating stuff at the rim, as Ant would say.
Jalen Johnson drives to the basket. Hawks cut the deficit to 1, and then a minute later, McCollum.
Ooh.
You know
that was
what?
nasty.
He still got it.
I didn't know it was move like that.
Next Atlanta possession, McCollum just going at Brunson. He's really cooking now here, Shanae. And then the next play, Brunson pulls up.
Oh. Yeah.
Knocks down the three.
He tried to put him on their back.
What an answer from Brunson.
Yep.
This was a big time
later.
This was a big time shot.
That was a heat check shot.
Over the top of OG and a freaking Novi.
So 17 seconds left in the fourth quarter here. Brunson drives the jumper.
Defense.
Can't get it. To the other way.
That was a man's finish. Wow.
Hands for safety.
So here, the Hawks getting ready to foul for the game. Jalen Brunson, though. Oh, everywhere but down. There it goes down.
3 ball with no time off the clock.
And so here, the Hawks get it in. McCollum, he's the hot man, so they foul him. Heads to the free throw line. McCollum, he misses the first free throw. Clanks off the second. Josh Hart gets the rebound. No timeouts. Pushes up the floor. Mikal Bridges, he has a good look. Can't quite get it to go.
Just short.
The Hawks steal game 2 at the Garden. Here's CJ McCollum. He was asked, are you a villain, CJ?
I am no villain. I'm a nice guy with 2 kids and a wife. I think it's admiration. Great, passionate fans in a really hostile environment. It's fun. It's basketball. It's the playoffs. And if anything, I think it's a sign of respect.
I'm no villain. I got 2 kids and a wife, he said. Trae Young's got 2 kids and a wife, too.
Bird sound. Caw.
Yeah, what was that one more time?
Caw.
Yeah. See all in the A, CJ McCollum says here. Here's Jalen Brunson on CJ's big night.
He was in a great rhythm. I got to disrupt it, make him play on his heels, make him react to me defensively, and he was just in a rhythm. And you got to give him a lot of credit.
We've been in this situation before. Obviously everyone is, frustrated with, this loss. And, we're going to go into game 3 with a great attention to detail and a great focus, for a full 48. We got high character guys, who respond well.
So a 1-1 series, right? It doesn't sound that bad. But the Knicks, they actually have a losing record when a series is tied at 1-1 in a best-of-7. Now, all right, they did beat the Pistons in the first round last year after splitting the first 2 games. So if we're looking at recent history, maybe that's comforting. But as we head down to Atlanta, what is this series going to come down to here, Brian?
Well, I'm going to tell you, the first step in getting upset in a playoff series is kicking a game. Because you have a game that's won, especially the Knicks, who are a very good top 3 clutch team this year. This is games that they normally close out. That's what you do. When you kick a game that also gives up home court advantage, that's step 2, lose home court advantage. So the Knicks are going to have to win it back. They played very good minutes. Now, the one thing I'll say is I would not be surprised if Mike Brown makes some adjustments here, because for some reason he has decided, after not really doing this in regular season, to have big chunks of the game with Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson off of the court, which is what happened at the start of the fourth quarter, which is when the Hawks started the comeback.
At the same time, right?
At the same time.
Well, and so he said afterwards that the metrics support that they can play with both of them sitting, but they don't. You've got to stagger their
minutes. Just not that night, it didn't. Yeah, I think it's going to come down to the clutch minutes. I think New York's still going to win this series and get back into it. We haven't seen Nickeil Alexander-Walker get into play yet. But
not offensively.
Not offensively yet, but it's going to come down to, really, to me, it's Cat. And Cat was doing big Cat things through 3 quarters. Fourth quarter, he didn't get many touches and looks, but he was rebounding, offensive, pushing, knocking down threes, celebrating, throwing up his threes. He looked great. And the fourth quarter, they got kind of cold. They did throw some traps on him, but he needs to be more demonstrative and more demanding of the ball in the fourth quarter.
They've got to figure a way how to get him the ball more. He had 7 attempts in the third quarter. He had 2. He posted up twice. Here's one of them here at the 6-minute mark here against Onyeka Okongwu. Certainly pushed him off the paint. And then the second one was with Jonathan Kuminga defending him at right around the 3-minute mark here. And Kuminga did a great job pushing him away from the basket. But they've got to feed him the ball. Remember, this is an Atlanta team that I think Okongwu is 6'8". This is a small team.
Right.
But last night, 22-4 in points in the paint by Atlanta here.
Right.
They've got to figure out how. I feel like we talked about this last year in the Detroit series, getting him the ball down the stretch.
Well, they put Dyson Daniels to the bench. They put Onyeka Okongwu on Hart. They put Nah on Brunson. And then they put Kuminga on Towns. Is that something, Chiney, that they can go to as a recipe more and more?
Honestly, for the Atlanta Hawks, their biggest question was, can they close games, knowing what Jalen Brunson historically has done at end of game? And they actually got a pretty good answer. And it came through the seasoned veteran in CJ McCollum, who actually was the second oldest player with 30 and 5 versus the Knicks in a playoff game. Now, he was hunted hunting. He might say it politely, but I'm not going to do here. He was hunting Jalen Brunson. You see numerous switches, and he's one of the shiftiest players in the NBA with beautiful touch. He tapped that glass right there, hips. Right? Again, here's like a really solid screen. And again, it allows Jalen Brunson to be the defender. Anytime a player backs up, you know he's trying to cook. Everyone's chilling. He's on an island.
Everybody
Crossover
go
again.
flat.
Cat was too flat in the drop coverage and not able to contest. And then they won this game down the stretch because Jalen Brunson struggled creating his own shots for plays and possessions like this. He was 5 for 21 when creating his own shot. They were trying to force feed him the ball because of his reputation in clutch time. But look at the solid defense here, and then it leads to offense to really ice the game. So on both sides, both ends, having C.J. McCollum play with poise, but more importantly, playing possessed defensively to me was most important for the Atlanta Hawks.
And we've seen that through 2 games here. And now C.J. McCollum gets to go to his house, and they've snatched home court advantage if they're able to continue this momentum here. Coming up on NBA Today, Houston, they are holding out hope for Kevin Durant, but his status, it could change everything.
They're in trouble.
That glass, don't tap that glass. There's a monster in it. Don't tap that glass.
Kennard's looking right now.
Don't tap that glass. Don't tap that glass.
LeBron James way downtown.
Don't tap that glass. Don't tap that glass, baby. Don't tap bling, 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 bow. Michael Jordan eyes, neck yellow, look like bing, bow.
James falling away, puts it up, puts it in.
We know the intensity now, so we should be ready again on Tuesday.
So the Lakers, they stole game 1, and that's a good sign for any LeBron James team. Danny, you know this. Saturday marked the 32nd time LeBron has taken the first game of a series, and LeBron's teams, they won in 29 of the 31 previous series after taking that 1-0 lead. Shams Charania is back with us, along with our senior writer, Dave McMiniman. So let's start with the biggest question in this series, and that's on the Rockets side of all of this for game 2 here. Kevin Durant, officially, he is listed as questionable. Shams, I want to start with you, and then Dave, hear your reporting here. What is the likelihood that he is going to play?
Malika, so the process tonight for the Houston Rockets and Kevin Durant will be Durant will warm up pregame, and they're going to make a decision. But Rockets sources believe and are hopeful that Kevin Durant will be able to play tonight. They're optimistic. What he's dealing with is a deep bruise in the right patellar tendon. That's caused swelling. It's impacted his range of motion. So it's going to be about how fluid does he move pregame, how much fluidity does he have in his steps. The fact that Kevin Durant sat in game 1 tells everyone everything they need to know about how severe the pain he was feeling. So we'll know pregame tonight whether he's going to be in a position to play or not.
Yeah, Sham, several sources familiar with KD's injury told me over the last 24 hours that had this been another player and had it occurred in the regular season, you're talking about a 2 to 3 week absence. But because it's Kevin Durant, because he has this competitive nature, competitive fire, and it's the playoffs, he's going to make a push to play in game 2. But you'd have to figure with that type of timeline, even if he does play, you're not talking about a guy that's 100%.
Right. 2 to 3 weeks for any other player at a different point in the year is something that should be a little bit concerning, and they should proceed cautiously. On the Lakers side of all of this, right, we know that they're going to be without Luka Doncic for game 2. We know they're going to be without AR as well. But Luka, we saw video. He was on the floor at yesterday's practice. So, Shams, what more can you tell us about how his recovery is going?
Malika, the sense around the Lakers is that Austin Reeves is actually the one that's further along than Luka Doncic in their respective rehab processes. I am told Austin Reeves has started one-on-one on-court work. The next step for him is to continue to go through the progressions of 3-on-3, 5-on-5. Remember, early April here, he had a 4 to 6 week timetable. So theoretically, that puts him on track late in this series, potentially early in the next series. The Lakers are not expecting Luka Doncic to be back in this series. He is out indefinitely, but Austin Reeves making some progress on the court.
Okay, holding out a little bit of hope that they may get one of those two back then. So, Dave, for now, despite all of the conversation about LeBron needing to take a back seat throughout the season, now look all the way back on his shoulders. How is he handling being thrust back into the leading role here, something he's grown very accustomed to over the years?
Yeah, Malika, I want to take you back to the last week of the regular season. The Lakers had lost their first 2 games after the injuries to Austin and Luka, and they're up in San Francisco for a team meeting. And several team sources told me that LeBron, from that moment on, kind of shifted back into the leader role and the primary role. And basically his tone, his focus, his attention to detail from that point through the end of the regular season, through the week of preparation, during the play-in tournament, and then through game 1, was that of follow me, and if you take care of your job, I'm going to take care of my job, and we're going to have a chance to win. Now, it doesn't mean that them winning game one means that they're going to get automatically to the second round, but if they stay in this mode, and LeBron's certainly going to set the example how to stay in this mode, they feel like they have a game plan that can get them further along in the playoffs. And then, as Shams alluded to, maybe you get Austin back late in the first round. Maybe you get Luka back later on in the playoffs.
Look, we have seen LeBron take rosters that have far more flaws than this on deep postseason runs. But at 41 years old, let's see if he can do it again. Dave, Shams, thank you very much for that insight as we bring you back inside our Los Angeles studio here. Before we get to the Lakers side of all of this that Dave just touched on, what we heard on Kevin Durant, how concerning is that to anybody? What are we thinking here?
I would say, number one, talking to teams who've worked with Kevin Durant in the past, they think he's one of the toughest players they've ever seen. So they expect him to play as soon as possible. And the Lakers are going to expect him to play tonight. And secondly, the teams that were potentially facing the Lakers in the first round when they performed their preparations for this, expected that Austin Reeves would be the one who would return first and that he would be able to maybe come back late in the first round.
But isn't it an advantage, Danny, for the Lakers? They know they're going to be without their leading scorers in this game, as opposed to the Rockets are sort of playing on this edge of, are we going to get KD back? Are we not?
I don't know if it's an advantage, but I don't like the Houston. Again, I think KD would have played if he could have. This let me know this was serious than it actually was. But you can't play with the game. I think they thought they could afford to sit KD because they're playing with house money. But now Lakers have confidence. They're in a rhythm. You got guys like Luke Kennard playing very well.
Very well.
DeAndre Ayton, people not getting enough credit. 19-11, he outplayed that Clint Capella or Sengun matchup. So these guys are playing at a high level, and you can't play with the game. This is where you kind of lose yourself.
So as someone who's very, very invested in Houston's future, you can't play with a game, but you also can't play with your future. And hearing that the likelihood, the turnaround would be 2 weeks and he's just tough and he wants to compete, sometimes I'm like, you have to protect the athlete from themselves. And we've already seen what happens when he pushes through. He had suffered an injury.
So would you take the gamble? Would you say, all right, we're going to risk going out there and try to go back 1-1 without
Me
him?
personally, I wouldn't.
Okay.
I would just try to get him back home.
Okay.
Buy him a couple extra days and then see how he feels from there. Maybe the series goes 7, knowing that you have him back and you could really win 2 at home. And so that's me. But again, I'm very cautious about my Houston Rockets for the long term and not just this immediate future.
I agree with Chiney. I think if he's 50%, I would probably still sit him. He's going to make the decision on his own, I think. I think you have enough to win tonight.
They should.
Without Kevin Durant.
They should.
Considering where the Lakers are right now, you got to clean up your offense. That's the most important thing. And they've had 72 hours to digest as far as where they were Saturday and where they're going to be tonight.
Right. And for the Rockets here, we've talked about it. It comes down to DeAndre Ayton can't win that matchup against Alperen Şengün, and he was absolutely sensational, really. All the Lakers could have asked from DeAndre in that game one. We'll see how it's going to shake out tonight. Let's go, though, from LeBron's current team to one that we saw a whole lot of. For the third straight season, the Cavaliers, Brian, they are up 2-0 in their first-round series. So let's head to Cleveland here. Second quarter is where we pick this up. Cavs leading by 4. Harden, this is what he does.
I want to tell you the Raptors had a lot of good defensive possessions in this game, and Harden and Mitchell ended them with dagger baskets.
Like that?
Is that legal? What is going on here?
I don't know. The streets like it, though.
Did you say that's a push-up? Wow. And then the stare down after. Did you see this angle?
Yeah, that looks quite familiar from years past.
And then it bounces 3 times, almost a Kawhi-ness to it.
Shooter's bounce.
Muscle check.
There you go.
Goes on in. And then jumping ahead to the third
Thought he
year.
was like, what?
Mitchell going to work. Little dart to Mobley for the slam. He finished with 25 points, 11 of 13 from the field.
He's been hooping.
Cavaliers closing it out here. Mitchell.
You know what's coming.
He's got that range. Pulls up for 3, knocks it down. He finished with 30 points on the night. The Cavaliers go on to win, and now they're up 2-0 in this series. And they had 3 25-point scorers in a playoff game for just the 4th time ever. Mitchell, Harden, Mobley, this is what we've been waiting for. They also became the first playoff trio with 20. Mr. Wembanyama is your 2025-26 Defensive Player of the Year. After winning the Rookie of the Year unanimously, that was 2 seasons ago, he becomes the first unanimous Defensive Player of the Year since the award was first distributed in 82-83. And not only did he make that history, he also became the youngest player ever to win the award. The last player to win the award in his first 3 career seasons in the NBA, the Admiral, David Robinson in 91. And San Antonio, right, it's fitting, is the only franchise that has had 4 different players win DPOY. Wemby, Robinson, Kawhi Leonard, and
Danny Green?
Robertson.
Almost.
In 1986.
Almost.
No,
Here's Wemby on winning the award unanimously.
It's just very meaningful to me. You know, it means that there's no place for debate. It means that everybody agrees upon something. I mean, it's impressive. It's like it's not a subjective matter.
It's not a subjective matter. There is zero debate. Danny, have we ever seen a player have this type of defensive dominance?
Not since I've been watching, anyway. I mean, I've seen some greats. I've seen Ben Wallace. He was great at protecting the rim and even guarding Shaq. Not many people could guard Shaq. But him, how much space he takes up, how much ground he covers, I've never seen it because he is 7'4". Right. We haven't seen many 7'4" guys this agile, this coordinated. So, yeah, I don't know if we'll see one like it or ever see one in the past or ever again.
I love how we gave him on this show the alien treatment. That's his name. But honestly, it should also be Avatar because he's the last airbender. He bends the air with everyone else's shots. Yeah. His universe, it's completely shifting the gravitational pull. Whenever he moves somewhere, that means people are not shooting. When I move, you move. You definitely move. And so it's not just that he is, someone that we've never seen 7'4" offensively, but defensively, he changed how you approach the game completely. And that, to me, is super cool.
That was a beautiful piece of commentary. I'm still thinking about something that Malika said a second ago, which is that he was unanimous Rookie of the Year. I forgot about that. Unanimous Defensive Player of the Year. What if he wins unanimous MVP someday?
Wow.
Could happen.
Maybe.
Right?
I don't think that's out of the realm of I don't think that's out of the Wemby.
He'd like to keep it. He'd like to keep it non-subjective. That he'd like to remove all doubt for that.
I think he can.
I mean, Steph did it, right? Yeah. It's hard to do. It's very hard to do. But I think he's capable.
How many? I mean, Brian, when it's all said and done, do you think that is defense the best part of his game? And is this the first of? I mean, this is the first of several.
Yeah, you have. You said that it's the third year for Robinson, but remember, David Robinson in his third year was 26 because he had the military service and he played all the years. So he's only 22. So the big thing will be we have a 65-game rule. And he has to stay healthy.
And he mentioned that. He said that was the hardest part. He said when he was asked by our friends and colleagues over at NBC about winning the Defensive Player of the Year, he said the hardest part's getting to 65 games. It's not actually playing the defense.
If he gets to 65 games, he could win 12.
I argue differently. This is where we'll actually have debate. The best part of his game to me is offensively. When you're 7'4", you're expected to change the game. And I know what we're going to see is unparalleled levels of blocks. First time ever we've seen blocks leading the league in blocks in the first 3 years. But offensively, I tell a story. Like, I was sitting at home a couple days ago with my dad in Houston, Texas. He was playing, and my dad immediately sat down and was like, whoa. He has that whoa factor. 5 for 6 from 3, hitting sham gods, reverse moves, spin moves, dunking, step backs. That, to me, is the
If he was allowed to play one
part.
side of the floor, which side would you take?
I'm taking the defense. But you get my
defense
point here.
rests.
Yeah, there you go. That's attorney Brian Windhurst at Law over here. Let's turn the page to Shoot Your Shot. It's brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook because we got some games tonight. Danny, start us off here.
Yeah, I got my guy Tyrese Maxey. He didn't have a great night to start, but I think he's going to pick it up. I got him for over 27 or over 25, but I think he'll get like about 30 this night. Philly may not win the game, but he's going to have a better night for sure.
And I'm taking Alperen Sengun. You guys know I never bet against my Houston Rockets. He's got to have a better game, so at least 20 points.
Never
All-star.
Against.
I manifest. You're correct. Correct.
I only talk about Victor Wembanyama's offense. As you know.
Really?
Say over 3 threes tonight.
Got blocks.
He's going to take them. I'll make a block bet, too. What do you got?
Over 2.
All right, so that brings us to plus 25 for Tyrese Maxey, over 20 for Alperen Sengun, and over 3 threes here for Victor Wembanyama. That's plus 647
Go team.
There.
Pretty good parlay.
On DraftKings Sportsbook, all customers can get a profit boost every day of the playoffs. You can download the app, use a promo for a cool 51 points in Game 1. They cruised to a 32-point win over Philadelphia. By the way, that is the largest margin of victory to open the postseason in franchise history, and the Celtics' 4th biggest win ever tonight in the postseason, that is Game 2, as we say hello to our pal Tim Bontemps, who is at TD Garden for this one. So Boston, Tim, is 14.5-point favorites tonight. How the heck does Philly without Joel Embiid even up this series?
Well, Malika, there's a very simple formula for Philly to even up this series, or even have a chance to even up this series, right? Which is Tyrese Maxey needs to be the best player on the court, and the Sixers have to hit shots from the perimeter. They did neither of those things in Game 1. Maxey was 8 for 20 from the field. The Sixers only got up 21 three-point attempts in the game. They were in the competitive portion of the game, I should say. 4 for 21 from 3. during that part of the game. And they were 8 for 37 overall on jumpers in game one, Malika. Their worst showing of the entire season from an effective field goal percentage per Genius IQ. That's simply not going to get it done against a Celtics team that is more talented. And with the Sixers still without Joel Embiid, who did just start his strength and conditioning program yesterday, he is not here in Boston. There remains some hope they could get him back at some point during the series, but that's going to require the Sixers to play much better than they did in game one. They've got to have Maxey playing as the best player on the court, outplaying Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, both of whom were excellent in that game one. They need guys like Kelly Oubre, other guys, support guys on the Sixers to step up and make shots. If they can, perhaps they can make things interesting tonight in game two, and if they can't, it's very likely going to be 2-0 Boston going back to Philly for game three.
Yeah, it's a tall task here, Tim, for the Philadelphia 76ers, but it starts with, as you said, just getting up more three-pointers, let alone making those. Tim, thank you. Try to enjoy the game. Hopefully you got a good one. We actually have 3 game twos, though, tonight. After the 76ers and Celtics, we got the Blazers and the newly minted Defensive Player of the Year, Victor Wembanyama. And then we have the Rockets and the Lakers to finish up the night. The home team, they're all up 1-0 in this series. Big, bold. That's what we're going for here, guys. Get your best first take impression on, Danny. What's your one bold take looking forward to these games?
I got the Lakers. Regardless if KD plays or not, I think they're still going to win this game.
Boy, that's a hot take. They're up 1-0 in the series.
That's mildly warm.
I
say that out loud. I'm sorry.
I could not make coffee with that take, but maybe I could have a tea.
But most people expect Houston to win, even without KD. If KD comes back, you give them a full advantage over this group without Luka and Austin Reeves. Any other team with their best players out, they don't have a chance. But Lakers, I think, still can win this game, regardless if KD plays or not, because they play too much with their food.
That's not bold. This is bold. I have Alperen Şengün dropping 30 and the Rockets winning game 2. That is bold, and that is a manifestation, okay? And I say this because I don't think people expect the Houston Rockets to win. Their offense sputters, and the reason why Kevin Durant came to Houston was to fill and fix those holes. And without Kevin Durant, this team has struggled. And so Alperen Şengün, be the all-star that you are, drop 30 and go home with some momentum.
Sinead, what do you think of this? How about Reed Shepherd cooks in his second ever playoff game? He got 20 shots the other night, only made 6. He's going to get a bunch of shots tonight. Even if Durant is in the game, they're still going to rely on him. This guy has had some big games over the last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to happen tonight, but I think it could.
As a note for our graphics producer, I believe it was Reed Shepherd cooks. Not good game, not just good game. It is Reed Shepherd cooks here, according to Brian Winters.
Yes, well, that's nebulous. How can I can prove